Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sample Access podcast. And you know exactly what we do on the Sample Access podcast. We talk about samples. We talk about how songs have switched genres over the years. We talk about songs from now, songs from the past, and songs that we might actually get to see in the future. Who knows? We might talk about some particular samples that we are inspiring people to, or we're talking to people to try to get a bit of it to make something new that would probably blow up, and we maybe then would get credits. But basically that's what we do right here on the Sample Access podcast. We talk music, and I think we're just a group of, I'd like to call us a group of music connoisseurs that just love exactly everything about music. We have different takes on music. We have a hip hop purist here in Brega Adioya. We have Louisa that listens to the sound, dun, 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 all the sounds that you want to hear, all the sonics that you want to get into. She's right there to give it to you 100%. And then there's me, who's just like mostly bored of life and excited about music. But then, I'm excited about music. I'm a happy person about like life in general. I think we got at the point we wanted to call ourselves happy boys. But basically,
Right.
we never want to get bored of life. We just want to be happy. But yeah, we're always here to come to give you a good time. So, without further ado, you guys know what we do already here, but I'm going to let the guys, just introduce themselves quickly. But I'm just going to ask them what's going on and what's been happening lately, so we can straightforwardly get into it. Louisa, let me start with you. What's happening? What's going on? What's new? What's popping?
There's really nothing new. Everything's just the same. But as
Aha.
usual, the standard Nigerian answer, we thank God for life. Life is good. And yeah,
Yeah,
just
right.
creating my content every day and keeping an eye out for new music and new artists. That's basically what happens on my end because I love to look for new sounds and fresh sounds and share it with people. That's what my content is all about. So if you're new here, then I'm Giz Louise and I am a music enthusiast, specifically in Afrobeats. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Please go on.
Shout out Giz Louise. She's really all about music, I can tell. And it's exciting. I mean, people talk about music being oxygen. Music is life. How could we have lived without music? And that's really what I feel like the majority of the world does music on a daily basis. Like every day. If there's someone in the world that doesn't, listen or pass through or accommodate some music on a daily basis, then that would be, an outlier, very rare set of people. So this is like daily for everybody, but some of us take it a little more seriously. We try to understand what's the detail, what's going on here, why does this sound like this, why is this different, and yeah, that's how we created this. We want to talk about it, and we hope we find our tribe who like music as much as we do and rock with us. So yeah, what's been going on music wise with me? Not a lot's going on. Listening to what's available on Afrobeats, a little bit of Davies, hip hop head. Um, what else is going on? Yeah, I just appreciate Afrobeats. I'm stuck on social media sometimes, watching a lot of TikToks, and I've been catching up on the streaming world by the Enzo from Nigeria,
Yeah, big
Express
shout
in
out
America,
Enzo.
Shank.
Big shout out Enzo. Pulling in
Also,
for a
the
while
two of
too.
them went to Streamer University, and I've been catching up with what they're doing. I feel like streaming is the future of media, and they will be the CNNs for the new generation. So, yeah, I've been looking up on that.
Definitely, definitely.
Beyond that, not a lot is going on. Happy to be alive.
Oh yeah,
Alive.
yeah. Happy to be alive. Happy to be alive. Yeah, and just to remind everyone that if you want to listen to the previous, podcast episodes, it's all there in all podcast platforms. We've had like what this is our 88th episode, so we'll be here for a while. Honestly, we should be celebrating our first entry into the podcast world as this podcast in 2020. So August 20th, if I'm not mistaken, is the first time we release the first episode. So 5 years in what? In a few months. This is something that people actually would do, like, as Nigerians, we do small one day, you know, for it, because like 5 years is not a joke. And also, adding to that
Right.
5 years, we've also been like in the scene for a while. So we're not just like, I mean, we're not just regular people that are just talking music. We have been immersed in music for so long, apart from the fact that we are fans, first and foremost. Above every single thing, we are fans of music as a whole. But also, Boyega and I, for example, have been in radio far back as what 20, maybe 2015 for Boyega, or 2012 if I'm not mistaken, and for me almost 10 years in the making, right? So it's like at least we have a lot of, and of course Louisa. I can't talk too much about Louisa. You know what's up. But yeah, I just wanted to give that quickly so that we get straight into it. I just to give everybody like an understanding of what we always get to do here. So yeah, a lot has been going on, of course, in the music space. I'm still trying to catch up. I know I said that last episode, boys. To be honest, I have a lot to say about music right now because it's so much to catch up. But then I'd like for us to go easy by easy right now, and we'll talk about like maybe some of the new projects that are out at the moment. And let me start off, Louisa. I want us to go very random off the top right now, and just tell me what have you listened to lately, like from the most recent song that I've heard, and like the singles, albums, just in general. You don't have to give me like a whole list, but what exactly have you jumped on, Afrobeats or not Afrobeats lately, that has come out either from Nigeria or any part of the world that's caught your interest?
You know me, it's always Afrobeats. I find it very hard to listen
Uh-huh.
to other genres. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
you
yes.
loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah. I find it hard to listen to other genres. It's not like they are not interesting, but I am more drawn to Afrobeats. So for Afrobeats, I've listened to Olamide's album, which is a solid album. And I've also listened to Mayorkun's album, Still the Mayor, also a very solid album. I don't think I skipped any song in these two albums. Very interesting pieces of work. And for singles, there's Fola Sade by Ladipo, and that single is, I don't know how to describe it, but when I watched the video, I felt something. I mean, I'd heard it before, but then he released the video and I watched it, and I don't know, something sparked inside me. So I've just been hooked on that song for quite a while now. And on Mayorkun's album as well, I think the intro for Mayorkun's album, you should, if you haven't heard it, then you should definitely hear it. I think we're going to discuss that later on today. And there was also Olamide, his in his album, I'm feeling Indica right now, I'm feeling Nalakipo, I'm feeling Lava Lava, which we will also discuss. But there has been a whole lot. People have been releasing songs, singles, new artists, and it's hard to keep up. But at the top of my head, these are the songs that I have been putting on repeat, rinsing, and listening to every day. So yeah, boy, what are you listening to?
Right. AQ, Hip Hop, God's Engineering number three, the third album in that
Course,
series.
of course. That's why I said hip hop purists. People already know. Wega, they already know. If nobody in this world is listening to hip hop, Wega is listening to hip hop.
Maybe not always, but I take that. Thank you. Thank you for the compliments. But hip hop is really just the purest form of music. So I appreciate it, and it's just how I is my happy place, so to speak. If I, for instance, I listen to Zama the third, famous Pluto, the third of the Migos brothers. I listen
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
album just because of the buzz and because I'm happy with that family. To have three of you guys releasing music, you have people listening to you, you're making money from music. I'm happy for you that you are
Yeah, big
breaking
ups to
that
them.
thing and you're doing your what you do. But back to AQ. AQ has done over 10 albums now, and he's always about that life. He does his hip hop thing. Everybody knows AQ is top four, top five Nigerian MCs in the last 10 years and of all time if you start to extrapolate and debate. So I
Definitely.
respect him for that. And, I clicked on it a bit, listened to a few tracks. He calls it GE3, God's Engineering 3, because he's done God's Engineering 1 and 2 over the last 5 years. And he calls this the beginning. One thing I've just, recognized about the album is that he seems to embody that hip hop figure. The album cover is very hip hop, and then you can appreciate
Hmm.
the raps on it. Black Bones was featured on Who's Really Rapping, which was one track that caused a lot of chaos on Nigerian Twitter last week. You have tracks like Class versus Clouds. King Madi is on the album, and at the boss last Terry Apala, BK Isgard, Cabex is on Lost in Translation. You have Note to Self one last time where you have the Stoic and ROI, many, many songs. So AQ being about that life, I spinned it a little bit. I'm definitely going back to listen again. Who else did I listen to? Album wise, I didn't listen to Olamide. I don't know why, but I heard Billionaires Club, Darkoo, Wiz, Olamide. I can appreciate that, but I'm curious to know why he named it Olamide. I think it's important in his discography and where he has come and how far he has come. So yeah, salute to him, salute to his legacy. Hip hop was in the conversation in Nigeria over the last week. Who's
Quite
really
a lot
rapping?
actually. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to
Yeah.
talk about it here, but Nelson would lead us there if he wants to. But back to my discography, or what I've been listening to, not discography. Um, Michael Jackson was celebrated, his posthumously was celebrated over the last few days. And when that
25th
happens,
last month.
you see a frequency of content regarding the person online. So TikTok led me to
Yeah.
going back to listen to Beat It, which is my favorite Michael Jackson song, I guess. I
Massive.
listened to Beat It a few days ago, and I really, really like what that song is. I listened to Oden Ose. She's an Edo woman who makes music based in Abuja, and she is fire. Oden Ose has a song out featuring Seth, and the song is titled Up and Down. It's really good. Like it's Afro beats esque jazz. She's R&B. Her former album, self-titled Oden Ose, oh no, titled Miss Independent or Mischief. I'm sorry, I'm messing things up. Mischief, but she's really good. I want her to blow up. She's the type that takes the stage and does magic. She's Majek Fashek. She's Fela. She's named the legends. She's the musician, and I don't know why as much people are not aware of this woman. She's really good. So yeah, apart from that, Mayorkun a little bit. Mayorkun is on radio. Who else have I listened to past few days? I'm missing some names, but that's about it. If they come back, I'll be back to talk about them.
All right. That was very, very top tier from both of you guys. It seems like you guys have consumed a lot of music, and that's what we like to hear. I think everybody wants to, you know, hear like takes of people that understand music like in depth on what they feel about music, especially now. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I kind of feel like there's a lot of music put out there at the moment, and like it's really hard for people to understand like or to go back and listen to good songs. So sometimes you need people to like remind you of, oh yeah, there's an AQ's album out, there's like this guy's album out, there's this songs, or the Nesio, what you call or the Nesio, I hope I pronounced the name correctly. And that's something too that
Hold
that's
on. Before you go on, Oden will
yeah.
say because she made her intro is
Or
about
then they'll
pronouncing her
say,
name. Oden will
ah,
say, so it's important to get
this is my first this is my first time of hearing about her. So I would never make the mistake again. Or then to say, and I love the fact that she was able to explain to us according to what you have said. But like having to listen to stuff like that too. And there's so much music out. Just like I said, I realized this week how much music we have had put out in the past few weeks. And then I'm like, now just to confirm my point that I laid down in the last episode of the podcast, we're in a wave of like receiving so much music that a lot of great stuff are going to pass through the cracks and nobody's going to and it's not going to stick. And then we're going to come out and say, oh, we don't have good music, we don't have good music. And it's because right now the industry, and I mean this like in the most faint way possible, because the industry is not like there's no industry per se in Afrobeat, if we're being completely honest. But I mean the industry that I'm talking about, the big labels, are making us lose out on a lot of great stuff. Big shout out to Odile. I know Odile had a very good stint with Soso, but he had like Odile is doing great stuff with music. I didn't know like Odile had a song with Loj until it just popped up on my timeline. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because I love Odile personally. You know, I
you're,
love
you're,
Odile
you're
personally.
missing
Wait, I
out.
want to say something.
Yeah, I'm saying you're missing out. Moi is trending on
Yeah,
IG.
definitely. But what I'm trying to say right now is that like a lot of people are missing out. Like there's a lot of songs out there that are really good, but because of the label structures or the label structures of like having to put out the songs that they want, we are basically being A&R is now forced down our throats. Like whether you like it or not, it's what they give to you that you would listen to. That's the way the industry is set up now. And I know I'm going a little bit off the tangent because I should just be talking about music very lately, but this is what this podcast is all about, right? We talk about music as it is. I feel like a lot of songs are going just coming and going away. For example, Runtown released an album, maybe not the greatest album from Runtown, or maybe not the greatest body of work from Runtown, but decent stuff. Flo, for example, has taken off a life of his own. I know Flo was released last year, as a single off this particular body of work, but it's doing so well. Already like 3 million views, and but then nobody's really talking about Runtown still. Runtown is not in the conversation because the labels and the powers that be are not allowing it to happen. Why am I saying this? I'm going to talk about somebody quickly. Tolibian. Gwega, have you heard the song Oble by Tolibian? Is it Tolibian or Tolibian?
It's Tolibian, and I haven't heard Oble by Tolibian.
Oh
Last I
my
heard from
God.
him was Ramadan.
Oh my God. That's a beautiful song. I want you to go back. And this is me, it's been a while that I've heard a song and I put it on repeat and I heard that song nothing less than 20 times. I'm not even joking right now. I'm not saying this. Yeah, I'm not saying this because, I don't know him at all. I don't have any connection to him whatsoever. This is not me padding his music. That song is beautiful. You guys should go. Go, guys. The moment you hear the song, you would understand what I'm talking about. There's this kind of songs that you listen to and you can tell that this is only a song that a few people can make, and then goes on to somebody else like Fola too. The Fola guy, man, I'm amazed. I'm like, yeah. So we actually can still let songs like this slide, even in this Afrobeat era. I don't know whether you guys have been jamming Fola songs lately, but the guy is a gem. You know, is a gem and is making great, wonderful music. These are the people that we should actually be pushing out there. These are the guys that should be representing the sound, and that would lead me also to Mayorkun as well. I feel like if this was 5 years ago, Mayorkun would have had like an instant comeback. But guess what is happening? It's a little bit dragged. Why? Because it's like yeah, everybody's consuming too much stuff, and then like, do I really? Mayorkun is need Jari. That's the sound now. Even though he has a quality body of work put out there, I'm like, yeah, Mayorkun is back. If we're talking about creatively, like in terms of putting good stuff out there, he's back. But would he be able to stick around? Only time will tell, right? But has he been able to deliver a good body of work? You see why I'm very careful with my words. I said good body of work. I did not say best body of work. Good body of work. Yes, he has. But this also is even affecting some of the top tier artists as well. Olamide, just like Louisa said. Grega, okay, let me let you talk before I continue. Grega, go on.
Sorry to cut in. But I would let you come back to Olamide. I just wanted to come in because of New York. So I appreciate, your appreciation of New York's comeback, quote unquote. But I wanted to chip in again that, Runtown new album, Files, 2 weeks ago. Amazing album too, like we said, and most people have said. Files did a really good job creatively with that album. Mayorkun is back with something really nice. Ice Prince did something with starters. Malik Berry dropped last week. So what's my point? It's a lot of content moving along at the same time. Nelson knows a lot about old music 1980s. I'm guessing the rush was as much at that time too. Was it a lot of albums dropping every Friday or every Tuesday? But it's a lot of volume
Ah,
of work
yeah, yeah.
that's coming out right now.
I can speak to that quickly. Okay, it seems like Grega has a little bit of like a network problem. So, but
Wait,
Louisa, let me
can
let
I
you say something
just
before
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
before you go on.
Because he's talking about like back then, was it like were they
And
dropping? Okay, sorry, you're back. Continue.
the call came in. But remember how good um Davido's album was? He had 2 months of fame and then he had to move. So it's a lot of volume going on. And nowadays too, even though Nelson seems to have smoke for labels, nowadays there's social media to allow the small guys also come up. Back then in the 80s, if you didn't have some backup, some record label, some deal, you can't just sit in your room and drop album. You can't have a brother like Charlie Poppy and say because you are Uzama, you are his brother, you two want to. enter a label. Charlie Poppy brought his brothers and they did the hard work and they are here. So there's also room for the small boys to play. Now, because you have this open doors, open markets, anybody can drop an album if you have the buzz. Then you have 10 albums out in Nigeria every other weekend. Someone will get lost in the mix by chance. So it now becomes who has grace, who has the best work, who can pay radio more, who can pay marketing. And that's the game of capitalism that everybody has to play. But my point is to one, I want to hear more from Louisa how good Mayorkun's album is compared to his previous works, and also to say that yeah, we cannot help the rush of what's going on. Some songs will get lost in the mix. We can't help it.
Okay, so actually, I wanted to comment on that, on what you said about was it like the same years ago? Uh, so I know that question was directed to Nelson, but I think that it might have been a bit different. So right now we live in an age where things are very easy. You can make a beat with AI. You can produce on your laptop, but then back then I assume it was more technical to produce. So before you can maybe produce a beat or you can do certain things, it has to be worthwhile. You can't just like sing because like there are beats in excess out there or something. Some people actually used to record with live instruments. Like I was listening to Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson, and you can tell that like there was a live orchestra in that room. You can hear the violins, you can hear the guitar and everything. So it was like it sounded like a live production. Even if you listen to the old high life music, it sounded like they were live productions. So it's not like now where you can just be in your room, you can say, ah, let me just do one beat and send it to someone and anything. And then that random person, maybe you just saw the beat for like 20K and that person will now go and make one rubbish song. So it's like anyone can drop a song, anyone can access beats. AI can make a beat for you. You can drop a song, promote it on TikTok. If it doesn't work, you drop another one until it works. So it's like with the new age that we're in, it's very easy to produce, to overproduce. And because of this, it's very easy to also miss those gems. But then back then, maybe it was easier because like you have limited outlets for music. You hear music on the radio or you hear like what is on TV. So I think then it was also based on like where your music is being put out. If you're willing to pay for the radio, or maybe if someone just likes your song and then they play it on the radio, because I've seen a couple of cases whereby people, I think like the sample we'll talk about later today, I think he had to actually ask someone to come and hear him performing, and the person liked his song, and then they put it on radio. So then it was a bit different. You didn't have TikTok to help you promote your music, but you actually had to work for it. So I think with the difference in ages, that's just what's causing this overconsumption or over releasing of music, and it's also just making us miss out on things. So yeah, that's my take on what you
Yeah,
were saying.
yeah. Thank you very much, Louisa. I think Boyega, she really answered the question quite nicely. But then I would just like add to what she has already said. So everything she has said, I agree with 100%. I'm just gonna add. So for example, in the 90s, it was hard to put out music. Apart from all of those things you have said, pre-production, production, and post-production, those were things that were very, very important, right? For example, Motown Records, for example, they had a lineup. If it's not your time, it's not your time. If Marvin Gaye is the one popping right now, Four Tops are behind. The ladies, the spinners are behind. The Manhattans are behind. Do you understand? Everybody waits. They give people like, okay, yeah, for the next 6 months, you would be the one that we focus on. And then the material, every single thing, the writers, everybody, they are all focused on one person, right? Which was one of the reasons. I mean, if you go back and listen to the story with the person that was just recently crowned the number one R&B artist of all time in Stevie Wonder, that was one of the reasons why he left his record label. That was one of the reasons why he left, because he had to always wait. And of course, there were other issues about like money and all of that. But one of the main reasons, apart from money, that had to do with music was the waiting time. He had so much stuff to put out, but he had to wait for his own time and stuff like that. So and like you guys also said, I really don't think we can do anything about the amount of like music that comes out right now. But I feel like maybe now more than ever we need playlisting, like proper playlisting. Like I don't know how this is going to work, to be honest, but I think that probably would be something that would help. right? And it's not going to be fair anymore. These guys, these labels, and the reason why I'm going at labels is because they push a lot of songs down. When I mean they push a lot of songs down, imagine like you are in, I don't want to call any record label, one of those top record labels where they have enough money to farm, right? You're you are not going to get number one. So like you that are an independent artist, you're not going to get a number one. You can know that for a fact. You have to pray and hope for organic love from your fans to push your music, or maybe your TikTok, gains waves or something. But like you said, like the user said too, and that's don't take me don't take this wrong, or don't take me wrong at all. Even in the 90s as well, there are so many songs that are sleepers. I'll give Boyega an example. Do you know that in the pecking order of Solar Star, Dynasty were the last on the group, last in that group? If you remember, like the Solar Records. Solar Records had the Whispers. They had these guys that sang Wet My Whistle. That sound curious. I can't remember their name right now, but I think Midnight Star or something. The list was so long that Dynasty is like they were not bottom barrel, but they were the last on the list. All the albums, Adventures on the Land of Music, We're Here, all those songs, they are all like legendary songs now. But in the time, they were not top tier, right? They were all sleeper jams. And these guys, albums upon albums upon albums upon albums, right? But it was all just because of placement. But then they were still able to play them because of playlisting. A song that is good should not get under the radar. But I hope there's some structure that would help out. And the reason why I'm just playing by some of this is like, for example, artists like Yusuf Kobai, like YKB, drops a lot of great stuff, but goes under the radar. I mean, Tolibian too. I mean, everybody was saying, is he going to be able to, you know, push up the work of of Ramadan, right? And he dropped a beautiful song that on a normal day or like a normal climate, that's enough for you to say, drop your stance there and say, "You, I'm an artist. I make great music, and this is Ramadan was quite nice, but hit this." But I thought there was a little bit of A&R problem wrong with that because I don't know why the song itself was named Oble. I think they were trying to catch up with the sound. And that's the thing. When A&R now starts to think we need to succumb to what is going on to be able to sell, the artist, right? So they're like, Oble is pop, it's still the December sound. Even though there's Oble in the song, let's use it. They were trying to do the Ye thing with Burna Boy, where Ye sparked up because of Ye, wanted to release an album called, you know what I'm saying? All those things they were trying to do that, but it just didn't work. I love their idea, but sometimes like that, it just really hurts when you share stuff like that. To be honest, go ahead, please go on.
Thank you. So Yusuf Komba is the reason why I raised my hand. But like you said, A&Rs try to. Sometimes it's not A&Rs. It can be A&Rs. The entire team they want to. I manage an artist, so whatever you have to do, you have to do. There are people who stake 10 million, 30 million naira, 60 million naira, or 100 million naira on one or two singles because we are saying this 2025, this artist, you must pop. You must get a show in Malta. You must be part of Afro Nation. You must go to London. Everybody has a strategy. It's a dog world. It's crazy. So A&Rs, the team members, anybody, they do whatever they have to do. Sometimes they go on tours that bring no money. They go for free shows just to get the buzz. So whatever has to be done, title a song a certain way, collaborate with this artist that is problematic, that has a bad brand, or you still want to collaborate with him. Chris Brown, for instance, is not loved by a certain community in Nigeria. So every time a Nigerian collaborates with Chris Brown, there's a community that has smoke for that person. Odumodu Blaq is a bad name in certain communities. And when there's a lady called Chinasa. She does is this taking? She does YouTube content. And the time she interviewed Odumodu, she got smoke for it. Like, why are you talking to this guy from that community? And I'm talking about the feminist and the women community because of the comments.
I can't believe you went a whole 1 minute without saying anything, and then you ended up saying.
So I'm not hitting at them. I'm just saying Odumodu deserve whatever smoke he's getting from that community. They have a right to stand on that. But I'm saying all of that as an aside. You do what you have to do to catch up with the game. It's a rat race. It's a crazy game, and that's why I appreciate people who are, confident in their art form and they're comfortable. They are not under pressure because again, it is grace of God. Look at Charlie Poppy. Charlie Poppy left Gapa. Who would have thought that Lahore would come out of it? Lahore is the perfect upgrade from ex-convict over Pluto. So hard work and then grace of God for Charlie Poppy to transcend all those years with hits and then Lahore hits in 2025 and it's all over the world. And then his brothers are also eating it. You cannot A&R that shit. You cannot plan it. You will do your hard work and God will crown it if He wants you to be there. Shout out to people like YKB, and that's why we should make them feel comfortable where they are. Cynthia Morgan is asking for donations. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Yeah, I came across that. I don't know what the donations, because I haven't followed the story. I don't know what the donations are like. What exactly is the donation for?
Nobody knows, and she's getting some smoke. But what's my point is that there was a time she had a good time. She had a good 2 years, and somehow things went down the drain. Ricardo Banks is in business. He had a good time one time. Dropped Ozumba Umbadiwe. What's the song? Yeah, Ozumba Umbadiwe, and he had a good buzz. He's making something else with that. There are many artists who have come and gone. You see, these 12 months in a year, only a few artists, maybe 10 or 15 of them will get the real buzz. Every other person will hustle their way, manage their $5K, $2K every month, and stay where they can be. So, enough said before I talk too much.
And I just want to say something. Yeah, I think the best solution to all this wahala would be for artists to build their fan base, because if you drop a song, not everyone will like it, and that's fine. But your loyal supporters, they'll stream it, they'll listen to it, and they'll feel connected to you because like you're their personal person. So you cannot just be aiming for like the number one or the top 100 list. Like also think of just starting with your fans and then you expand from there. So I think that's just one thing, because like if you see all these K-pop artists, they have loyal fans because they build their community, they see their fans and all that, and they can't go hungry because they have people that will listen to their music. But if you're someone that you're just releasing music and like you just say, guys, please listen, and like we don't feel a connection with you, but you want us to listen to your music. It's like, okay, like I'm not really going to listen. But if they have a fan base, they release music, at least they're sure, they're guaranteed that I know that people will stream my music. And if it takes off from there, we thank God. If it doesn't, then at least my fans are satisfied. So I think building a fan base is very important. And I think more Nigerian artists need to do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what, Louisa? Like, I think today you're on fire. Basically, you're just giving us left, and I love it because that is like the perfect thing. And that brings me just to round off before we go into the sample, so we don't like bore people out too much. Lona, for example, Lona is building a huge fan base for himself. Lona, the artist, is going around the country and is getting people to listen to his music. Now, if Lona comes next year or in 6 months and he releases an album and he gets, I say this, he gets 100 million streams in a short time, I wouldn't be shocked. I know that a lot of Nigerians do not have direct access to all of this, like music apps or everything. But Lona has created a fan base in almost every city in Nigeria. That even a young guy is like, hey, Lona has just released. You don't even know what Lona has released, but like, let me to go on Audio Mac. Let me hear what that guy, maybe that guy will come our uni that year. And we're I'm up to something. That's how it is, basically. So I'm like, those kind of people, and I think that should be like like, I know people are trying their best and everybody's trying to do what they're trying to do what they can, but that should be like a thing. Lona's approach might not be it's not the number one, it's not the number one and overall approach, but it should be something that people should look into. Build a fan base. This is my advice to this artist, some of these artists that we have called are not there yet, that we think they should be there. We music people that we understand that they are making great stuff. We know you are meant for superstardom, but the hard work, the trenches work must be done. So when those guys are going on like school tours, please follow them, and give those people those songs that you really like. That San Siro song by Yusuf Kombai, I think that song is probably one of the best Afrobeat songs of the past 10 years. Honestly, it's there's everything that about Afrobeats, and I mean Afrobeats, Nigerian Afrobeats. I don't mean the modernized Afrobeats that we're hearing now, not the ones that Top 3 is currently giving us. Not Break You Down. I love those songs, but they are modernized. I'm talking about Afrobeats, Nigerian Afrobeats, like Jojo Elegba Afrobeats. That's what San Siro is. That's what that opening song by Toliban is. And I believe that those guys should go around and please make it happen, man. I wish you guys all the best. I hope to see you guys at the top. We're just going to quickly move on right now. And yeah, the samples today, quite interesting. The first one we're going to deal with, I'm probably the one that's going to take the stand again this time. Gongwaso was sampled. And it was sampled by somebody that is currently being known for being a sampler. I mean, like, it actually has gone out a couple of times that she had issues with one or two of her samples. I think
She's
one,
the
if I'm not mistaken.
female burner boy.
Yeah, the female burner boy. Basically, she's out to like do like samples all the time, and I honestly am a fan of doing the samples. Am I a fan of all the samples and how they are being done? Maybe not, but the fact that you're actually able to like get these songs and like put them together is quite nice. Darkoo is the name. I sometimes I struggle, to be honest. I'm trying to be a liberal right now. I struggle to. I don't know which of the gender she refers to. I don't know her pronouns. I'm sorry, and I
Her
don't want to
her
jump at
pronouns
it
is
because I
them.
know she's
Her
it's
pronouns
them.
are they,
Okay,
them.
okay, okay, they them. So I would address them moving forward like that. So Darko, they have been around for a while. They have been doing good stuff, and I think anybody that listens to underground music in Nigeria knows Darko is not a recent voice. Darko has been popping, what, not less than 5, 6 years, if I'm not mistaken. It could be more, but for me, I've been listening to Darko for a while. She has had a couple of stuff out. I'm gonna look for some of the stuff she has done. That it's just that now she has released so many songs. I think even now I don't even see, because it's quite strange to me that, like, okay,
I think
2019.
she
So yeah, I'm
released,
right
yeah,
about
she
correct.
released a song with NSG called Gangsta or something like
Uh-huh.
that. Yeah.
I love NSG though. I love NSG. Those guys. No, there's this song. I'm gonna look for the song. It was in their recent album. Take me to the dance time. Take me to the dance floor. I love NSG. I don't know whatever those guys are doing. I fuck with them big time, 100%. So yeah, she released a song with NSG, like you said, Gangsta, in 2019. She's been around for a while. I think Cinderella in 2020. I've got a little bit of a wave as well. I can remember that too. I remember always in 2022. I think that's when people started to know who she was or who they were at the time, right? Always that's the one that featured Black Sheriff. But that's would I call it an iconic verse or an unforgettable verse? You go to the video went around for a while. It was quite viral. I can't rap like those guys, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Darko always, that was one of those stuff. And then Favorite Girl came around with the Diwali sound, which we have spoken about already on the pod. She did the Diwali sound. I think for me though, personally, that was when I started to see her like sampling stuff a lot. A lot of people heard it and were like, "Oh, that's brick and lace." But then I'm glad that we've been able to break it down here. That it's actually the Diwali sound that she used. Same thing that we Wonder used as well to get his hits. And then she released more and more records. She did the remix with Rema, which I only knew because I saw numerous TikTok videos of ladies dancing. And I think that's one of those, for me, I think maybe that's one of the songs that I only knew because of the TikTok sounds. Because most of the TikTok sounds are songs that I've already known, I've known about or heard about before. But this one was the first one that I'm like, oh, I don't know what this is. I need to find out, because I saw a couple of TikTok videos. She released a couple of stuff then. And now, for the summer, of course, she's trying to rake in the funds. She released the Sexy Girl Summer. And it had Like That, Stay, Cycle, Focus on Me, Your Number, Options, Favorite Girl, the remix, and Right Now. Of course, the ones that are obviously top of the list is Favorite Girl with Rema, which already has like 34 million on like YouTube and stuff like that. Right now, like that, which I liked actually. Focus on Me, which is the song that caused a little bit of an issue with one half of P Square, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know whether it was Peter and Paul, one of the Peters and the Pauls, one of the P's and P's, basically had issues with it, and I heard a couple of stuff about like there was supposed to be a remix or the original song when somebody was supposed to be featured, and but yeah, she sampled quite a lot. But our focus today is the Gongwaso sample, which is the name of the song is called Your Number. Now, before I go any further, I would like to ask you people. Let me start with Louisa. Have you heard Your Number?
To be honest, I've only heard snippets. I like to listen to music when the hype has died down so that I can get
Yeah.
clarity when I'm listening to the song. But I've only
On
heard
how do you feel
snippets.
about it?
Yeah,
That's decent. That's decent. Go ahead, girl. Have you heard Your Number? Because I've heard
I
it,
ha- so the
obviously.
same with me. Sadly, I haven't heard it fully, but and that's because I guess I'm not really a fan. But I, of course, saw snippets. I saw enough to understand what the sample is. It's the beats laid back and then some extra
Yeah.
sauces,
Yeah.
which again turned me off a little bit because samples should be more creative than that. So
Yeah,
it's coming
definitely,
off. It's
definitely.
coming off as if, and this happened with the Duali beat too. Just the loop and of course a new song, a new vibe over it. I feel like we want more. I would want to listen to more. I want something more creative done to a beat or to a song or to a vibe. But I appreciate that they brought Heidi Kabasa and Nice into the video, and
Yeah,
it
in the
was
video.
really,
Yeah, yeah.
it was really good to see. Ultimately, I like that Nice Kabasa getting the flowers in that regard. But sample wise, it's pretty basic, respectfully.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so I just came to me right now, and I think that's how good ideas come. I think moving forward, when we hear samples like this, I want to put us on the spot, and but because we have not listened to the song right now, so we'll probably come back to it later. But I want us to have a sample axis score counter. So how good was your sample? Because we call ourselves the sample axis guys, so we know, we can tell a sample that was done right and a sample that was okay and a sample that we thought should have never happened, right? So I want us to like start having like a sample. I think that's going to be like a new segment for us. When we are done with talking about our samples, then we can quickly just say, okay, sample axis counter, what exactly it is, what exactly is the score out of a 10, 0 to 10. But now I would let Darko slide. I'll let them slide in this case, but then we would pick off on them later, maybe in our next episode. We'll definitely have a score counter for Darko. For me, um yeah, first thing I did when I heard the song, yeah, was I went to the producers list. And the only reason why I went to the producers list, because I'm a kind of guy that I've seen the music. Of course, I have seen the music process and I've seen sampling process. I mean, we have if you have seen the Kanye West videos or documentary, you have seen a sampling process, like samples being chopped up, like literally in real time, you know. And the reason why I checked was I'm like, hmm, what exactly did they like? What did they? And this is with all due respect. I am not in any way being condescending to my, in the way I'm saying this. But I was like, what exactly what did they do to this? What, you get what I'm saying? What's the, because I'm going to just quickly go out. I see three lists. Three people are credited as the producers of this song, Your Number. French with three, Spabs, SPALBZ, and Enzo Fresh. And my question is, what exactly was done creatively to make the beats like, unique? And I'm saying that in quotes. Because to me, I, I'm sorry, but it just felt like lazy sampling, if I'm being honest. I think, in all sincerity, ID Kabasa should still be credited here as
Can
produced
I,
by.
can I play? Let me just play a minute. This
The
is a
sound is
cover.
not so great. The sound is not so great. The sound is not so great. But I'm sure the sound is not so good. I'm sure we'll work on sound, and definitely next, maybe next few episodes for sure you would share like quality music. So yeah, but Boyega was trying to like, I think Boyega was trying to help me solidify my points. That like, of course, there's like, honestly, there's something there. Don't get me wrong. I'm very sure the producers did something. I'm very sure there's an underlying beat. But like you said before, there are some songs we listen to and we feel like the sample itself is the one that carries the weight of the new song, and that shouldn't be. I mean, it's like I always refer to um Wu Tang Clan when they sampled Gloria Gladys Knight and the Peeps. Why is everything so like there is you know that there's a transformation. Greg would always say genre switching, right? You can feel the genre switch, like you can hear it switch. You at some point you'll be like, wait up, is this really a sample? But because there's a
Right.
way it's being done, the spaces, the techniques, and you appreciate whatever it is that has gone into the head. I mean, it's like Dr. Dre's dun, 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 dun. That I think it was Michael Brunsby, if I'm not mistaken, that he sampled from the former musician and actor. And the way they cut these samples and they make it very unique. But yeah, Darko herself, she did a good job, to be honest. I mean, like, she did what she or they did what I beg your pardon, they did what they would normally do, on the record. Like Darko is Darko, I'm never like I don't doubt their powers in terms of how to make music that pops. But I really do think like the sample should be in this case. If I was going to score it anything, I like the fact that like you said, they got their flowers. Everybody was there. It was all nice and fun. People were smiling and everything is great. The song might end up popping and being a top tier song later. I do not know. But for me though, as speaking from a sample point of view, like I said again, I'm trying to put this out there. I'm not being condescending, but I feel like as creatives and as beat makers, when you do get an opportunity to sample, I feel like you should, when you get the opportunity to sample a classic, I think you should really sample it. Like finish finish the life of the sampling and create something entirely new from the sample. That's why whenever we talk samples, I always like doff my hat to hip hop producers. When hip hop producers catch a sample, they finish the sample. You get me? The sample by the time you hear the sample again, you're like, I didn't know it could sound like that. But yeah, but like, Boyga, I think you want to say something. You want to say something. You want to say something?
Yeah, yeah. There's a Pusha sample going around. I don't know if you saw it. There's a Pusha T sample. So this is just a way to, conclude this section.
Yeah,
Let's not put Afrobeat sampling or interpolation or biting or cover, whatever it is. Let's not put it on the same pedestal as what we know sample to be, because sampling came from hip hop, really. Take
yeah,
this,
exactly.
we model. So hip hop is on
Big
a
shout out
different
to
level.
big
And
shout
that's
out to
why,
Beastie Boys. Big shout out to Beastie Boys.
it's the best music genre that we have in the last how many years? Maybe rock and country were top, blues, of course, in those days, but hip hop is really the soul of music in the last 20, 30 years. So, yeah, the most exciting genre, the most creative until people come to water it down. And I'm just going to say this respectfully again. What we're seeing is aura farming. If you can aura farm here, you can, pick this, join this, follow flow on TikTok.
Oh,
That's what we're seeing. And I hope it doesn't get too bad, so to speak. So yeah, we are going to then, so that we don't sound like broken records, ranting all the time. We're just going to not expect the same level of production that we have from hip hop. We're not going to expect it from Afrobeats production and sampling and
I,
everything in general,
Boyga,
because
I'm
it's
sorry. I'm sorry. This doesn't happen quite often, but I disagree with you on that. I disagree on one on just, and I'll use this to like round up so we can move on to the next sample. I think our producers are more than good enough. I know there's been like a talk about, oh, can Mike Dean, you know, can Mike Dean produce Shaolin by Shay Vibes and all those things. I think people do not understand like how much of like talent like there are in this American or hip hop guys. I think people is almost very very interesting to see people, especially on Twitter and stuff like that, especially people that are not, and it's even more interesting to see that the the so-called the so-called producers themselves were part of the conversation. Agwega, I don't know whether I remember that they were part of the conversation about like the whole like saying, oh, some producers were out there like, oh, Dr. J can never produce this, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like the reason why you can produce now is because of some of these guys, because of the Mike Deans, because of the Timberlands, because of, that's the reason why you can be your house and use Fruity Loops.
The
If not for them, you
Lacademians.
wouldn't. You get what I'm saying? You wouldn't be able to do stuff like that. And you see people talk about this, and I'm like, these are the problems. That's why. And I think I'm just gonna say it as it is. Shout out to Darkoo. They're great, but this sampling is wrong. It should not. It's not accepted. Not the best. Let me put it like that. But Louisa, please go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I recently watched like an interview with Young John, and he long way
Huh.
in terms. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, it broke for a second, so maybe you can go back
Yeah,
from Young John.
yeah. So I was watching an interview with Young John, and he was talking about his history with YBNL and how they never really used to pay attention to the engineering of music. So it was just like create, record, release. So he's basically what he said is that now he feels like producers have improved as compared to his time of production. But you should also remember that we are still in the process of improving because it was like an interview with Joy Akan, and Joey now said that he has a friend that was excited that he just got a Dolby Atmos studio. Dolby Atmos has been in America for a while, and he is just like kind of bringing it or introducing it to Nigeria. So I feel like we have a long way to go because we did take inspiration from hip hop. A lot of producers have admitted, SARS has admitted that he took inspiration from hip hop and many other producers. So I feel like we have quite a long way to go. We are still learning this sampling thing. It has been happening, yes, but we still have quite a long way to go because if we're just getting into like perfecting our mixing and mastering and improving our sound quality, then I think we still can learn from hip hop about the sampling and everything. And hopefully one day it is done. But I do agree with you. I just heard the song whilst you were talking, and I feel like there was little done on like the chopping and creative process of the beat. And yeah, I do feel like we have a long way to go, and I
Yeah,
hope people learn.
yeah. But just because we are here to talk samples mostly, so like we said, we appreciate the fact that the sample was done, and we love the fact that Darko, they always come through and do great stuff. But like I said in the first sentence when I wanted to start talking about this, but I went back and I checked how many producers. I honestly wanted to see, to be honest, I wanted to see Adi Kabasa's name alone. And then I'll be like, oh, I get it. ID is like, you know what? Let's not do too much. Let's just sprinkle this and this and just go and do your stuff.
Nelson, do you want to shout them out? The names of the three producers? Do you want to shout them
Yeah,
out?
yeah. Yeah, I did already. I did already. I'm like, oh, big shout out. I did already. But like, I could go again. Enzo Fresh, French with the three as E, and Spabs, that's Sparbz or Z. Those guys, they did their thing. But yeah, and I would say that, like, let's just go back to the drawing board. Like, next time, I don't know if Darko is going to be releasing, because, like you said, it just feels like this album she put out. I don't know whether it should even be called an album, because now, whenever you post even a mixtape on like YouTube, it just tells you it's an album. So there's no way to. I don't know whether this is actually an album or a mixtape because it says "Sexy Girl Summer." I like to think it's an album.
All right.
right? I like to think it's an album. I'm ready to stand corrected. But all I'm trying to say is more work can be done. And this is where, because I have listened to the song, I would give it the first sample axis uh, um, counter number. I know, yes, I'm ready to take any hit that comes with this. But in terms of it being sampled and genre switching from what it was to this, because there was no genre switch, honestly, in this, except we want to call this hip hop, because what Darko did is a little bit like, rapping it. So maybe let's say hip hop or Afrobeats hip hop. I would give it a solid 3.5 out of 10. And the only reason why I'm giving it a solid 3.5 out of 10 is because the original beat itself is amazing, right? I'm going to end this with the first time I heard Tongwaso. I remember I was with a friend of mine, Kazim Balogun, when Oshineye Street in Lagos, Nigeria, in front of my mother's shop at the time. It was an evening time, and he was in front of me. His mom had this radio set she used to use at the time, old radio set for even the time, because I mean the year is what, '09. So she just used to give it to us to also listen to radio, because we used to follow a lot of sports at the time. And then Kasim was like, came to me and it's like, yo, bro, I just heard this song and I think they're gonna play it again. Let's just listen till it comes up. That's how we used to listen to music then, right? I know it's crazy for some people to hear this, but that's exactly how you listen to music. So we waited. I remember we waited at least 45 to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, just to hear one song, just to know how. And that's why I would never forget this story, right? Because we just kept on listening. We just wanted to hear who was going to request for the song again, right? And then I remember a lot of people requested for the song, but the OAP was saying, "Oh, we have played this song. Let's wait a while, so we don't just like double down on the song." So we waited patiently, and then the radio presenter said, "Okay, about to drop again, a new joint by Nice Kongwaso," and yo, I heard that. And that bass boom. I'm like, fuck, what is this? And then I could see him look at me like, I told you right? I told you right? No, it's like, and this moment was basically more cinematic and than I'm painting it right now. But yeah, I just wanted
Yeah,
to
right.
end with that. But yeah, big shout out to Darko though.
I wanted to shout out two other Ghanaian artists, Amare and Muli. They're having a good time, global music wise. Yeah, I think Darko too is from Ghana, so there's something about Ghanaian artists winning, and it's good to see. Speaking of Ghana, I just saw a Ghanaian saxophone or band rendition of With You. Louisa has seen that. It's beautiful.
I have seen that video. I've seen that.
Oh yeah,
Sit
really
Fanta
good.
Diallo.
And then after that, I also want to, yeah, your moments listening to radio and hearing Gongwa. So it's the opposite of what we have today. Today I have access to billions of songs in seconds. I can just type, and my brain is blowing up because I don't know how many albums do you want to listen to now. There's One Town, there's Ice Prince, and I can access them now. It's crazy. Sometimes I don't think we realize the world we're in. Back then, 2008, when a lot of Ajasa featured Nice on the famous song. Nice was the most featured artist in Nigeria, 2008, 2000,
Yes,
because it was on
yes.
fire. It was on fire. Congo saw street credibility. The album was everywhere. And then in 2009, Tradition, it was also everywhere. But then you would listen to radio, and then you will hope and pray that they pick your call. And then you will hope and pray that they are playing the right songs. If they weren't playing the right songs, you shut down the radio and go and play video with your sister. There's no TikTok. Now we are spoiled for options. And then, I can go on and on. I guess it's time to move to the next sample, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, Ayefele Mayorkun and Sean Kingston. Mayorkun's album, Still the Mayor. Is that the title? Louisa, remind me.
Uh, the name of the song is Keep on Rocking. And I wanted to say, he said his name is Mayorkun. So that's how you say it. Yeah, yeah. Just to let you know.
I get it, right? Mayorkun, Keep on Rocking. But the album is what?
Still the mayor.
Still the Mayor, yeah. I listened to a few songs, 345, Keep on Rocking, and there's one more song. Speaking of Keep on Rocking, it's a good time for me to revert to Two Face, Face to Face album, songs like Infinite Bagger, and there's a song titled Keep on Rocking, baby. I mean, it's a banger. It was really on fire 2004,
Yeah,
5,
yeah,
6.
classic,
Yeah,
classic.
right.
Give me them,
So
give me them.
Keep on Rocking by Mayorkun. I don't know if it's samples. It's not a sample. It just bites, lyric
Yeah,
from
interpolation. Yeah.
interpolation from Inka Ifele talking about. Now I can pick it up, but the album is Fulfillment, and the particular track is Beruba Monuro. Yeah, Beruba Monuro. For those who want to check it out, it's just one of those.
Aruba, Arubi, Adupe,
Yeah,
Aruba.
it's it's Ayefele's. Ayefele has a lot of fire. Ayefele was the banger artist. It was the Alujo. Every song is a hit artist of those years. So you can't go wrong with Ayefele. Go ahead, Nelson.
Yeah, he's still the one. I mean, like, if we're
I
being
don't
completely
think so.
honest, when it comes to Alujo, like in Nigeria, I mean, Big Man is still get. Of course, okay, maybe now he has now gone to the Owambe side of things
Yeah,
because he was
exactly.
popping in houses. Like everybody's
Yes.
house had an album from Ayefele.
Yes.
But now, like in every, if your party is going to be the popping party, if you not
Yeah.
bring in Mega 99 or Ola Best or what's the name of
Seven
that guy?
Johnson.
Mafi Siakpa,
Seven
they are not
Johnson.
much. But then, like all of these guys that I've called, they are, with all due respect, they are still not on the level of Ebenezer Obey, King Sonny Ade, or Yinka Ifele. Those are the group of those three people are the ones that you would say if your event is popping and you have those any of those three guys and Kwam, of course, then
Yeah.
every other person is not
You
there.
know that one thing I just realized now in this little conversation is that at every point in time, Afrobeats and the New Age artists played alongside the Alujo Owambe artists. And this is not even a good way to pronounce them or to name them because they are Juju musicians that made the pace
Exactly.
faster. Juju
Yeah.
started or was prime with King Sonny Ade, Ebenezer Obey, Admiral Adele Abiodun, that set, 70s and
Yeah.
80s. And then he moved to Dayo Kujore, Olufaje Mayorkun, Shino Peters. They made it faster with Afro Juju, very fast. They are the fathers of what we see now with the Sheldon Johnson. Olufaje Mayorkun, Shino Peters, Dayo Kujore, and I think a few of them who were out at that time. They collected it from the OGs and said, we have to make this faster. And that's what they handed down to all the guys you're seeing now, Ola Best. The Juju is faster. There's a mix with Fuji somewhere in the mix. You can collaborate. And David Taiwo, 2001, 2002, Ayefele from 1999 all the way down. So Ayefele, what I'm trying to say here is that Afrobeats as a genre can exist on this side, and the Alujo OGs to the Tumba, the Juju can also exist alongside. Everybody's making money. And now in 2024, 2025, we are seeing a good collaboration. Fuji is global now. I mean, Pasuma is everywhere on TikTok. And there's this guy in the UK, Oshamo. I'm sure you guys have seen him, Super Fuji.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. So I like that marriage of the old and new generation, everybody making money, everybody making music. So back to Ayefele Fulfillment. This album was a household album, I think in 2004 or 5. Ayefele usually drop albums every year that time. So from 1999 all the way to whenever he took a break, you knew that Ayefele would drop an album. So Fulfillment, Beruban Monroe is a household album. Everybody knows it. So you can tell that, it's easy how Mayorkun could pick that. Mayorkun, by the way, does this interpolation a lot. He's really a master of it, if I can say that. And many of the songs that I can't recall now where he does a good pick and application, pick it from somewhere, apply it quickly,
Yeah.
and it sings. The other, so that's just about it. I just spoke with someone who works with Ayefele, and he's telling me that He didn't pay. I'm saying he's not supposed to pay now. Shebi is just interpolation. It's not like he picked anything. Uh, so he just wants to take it up. But Ayefele is having a run of collaborations with the newer generation. AYOX, a guy from Akure, had a collaboration with Ayefele some months ago, I think 2 months ago. And then Keys the Prince, right? Keys the Prince, a UK artist, did a popular song. I'm sure you guys know it, Left Right, that featured Mayorkun as well. For Time Ole, Match Your Enemies, Step on Your Enemies. So that was also a sample. That was in fact a sample. I'm sure we should treat it at some point. Of Ayefele's Left Right, Step on Your Enemies. And yeah, the song is titled Left Right, but I'm happy that the new guys are, picking from the old guys. Everybody's eating good. The third leg, briefly about this sample, is that Sean Kingston also features here as an interpolation. And then I found out Beautiful Girl is one of Sean Kingston's biggest hits. There's a part of Beautiful Girl by Sean Kingston that Mayorkun also applies on this new song titled Keep On Rocking. And yeah, back to Sean Kingston, he was really big. And I was just researching and I saw that there's this song on the album, self-titled Sean Kingston. You have a song like Take You There. Take You There was, you know, my song. If you were on radio at the time, if you're anywhere, this was, one of the biggest songs, one of the biggest artists at the time. And yeah, it's just nostalgia of what 2012 was like. Songs like Omi, Cheerleader, songs like Katy Perry, Raw, you can go on and on. So yeah, that's just really what we get from sampling. It takes us back to what we used to listen to. And I think enough said about this sample. It's not a lot of stuff. It's just Ayefele and Sean Kingston being sampled by Mayorkun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think right now we move on to like the other sample in the mix. That was just quick interpolation. Maybe that's a quick segue, so we don't give people too much samples.
Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead. I want
before
to
you
say
go on,
something.
sorry, before you go on, you were talking about sample counter. So it's the first episode of sample count, sample rating, counting, whatever. And then we
Sample
divide
axis
rate
counting.
yours. So you gave 3.5. I'm going to give mine now. So you raise that 2. And then we'll do for the Mayorkun sample. For the Darko sample, I will add 0.5 to what you had. So mine will be 4/10. Sorry.
Okay, okay. Louisa, I think you heard the song, but do you wanna give a count now, or you wanna go do that later? It's fine. Anyone is fine.
I think I'll do that later.
Okay,
Fair
okay,
enough.
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So should we grade Mayorkun or not? Because it's an
No,
interpolation.
no,
I think
because
it's an
because it's an
interpolation. So
interpolation, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
But
that's
this one though we would grade. This one is about to come on. But yeah, Louisa, take us away, please.
okay, so the next one is about the song Olamide's album titled Lava Lava. And just before I talk about that song, this album featured Dr. Dre, and it also had some other artists like Shay Vibes and Young John. I think one of Shay Vibes' artists, if I'm not mistaken, I think his name is Mugiz or something like that. But I think the album was nice in general to me, Sam. And also in the intro, I like how Olamide just stamped that he's not yet done. If you listen closely and just pay attention to the lyrics, he's basically saying that he cannot stop and he's not going to go back. So basically, I don't think we're
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
stop seeing Olamide anytime soon. And
yeah,
so now back to the song Lava Lava by Olamide. He sampled Lauryn Hill's version of Can't Take My Eyes Off You. And actually, Lauryn Hill sang that song for a movie, and the movie was titled let me just pull it out. It was titled Conspiracy Theory, and she recorded in 1997 while she was pregnant. And it wasn't meant to be
yeah,
released as a song, but then people watched the movie, and then I think he was a DJ, ripped the song from the movie and he started airing it on
yeah.
radio. And since he saw that the demand was crazy, she recorded it and she released it as a single. and the song actually peaked, or it was trending. It went on different charts as well. Yeah, yeah, Nelson, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add quickly so that you don't forget. I'm sure you have it on your list as well, but so we don't go past it. But the song itself has an original song as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I
she,
was getting to that.
uh-huh, uh-huh, okay, okay. Because I think the reason why was because in the movie, the both songs were played. Conspiracy Theory is
Hmm.
actually like a cult classic film. Both songs were played at two different times. But the fact that hers was, I think hers was played last, if I remember correctly. But hers was, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about Lauren Hill because I have like a little bit of like affection towards her, in terms for her music. Not like she was my first crush or anything. I adore her so much as an artist. But yeah, go on.
Okay, yeah. So it was released in 1997 as a single. And actually, Lauryn Hill sang it as a cover, I guess, of Can't Take My Eyes Off You by, it was sung by Frankie Valli, written by Bob Cravey and Bob Gaudio. I don't know how to pronounce their names. I'm
Frank
sorry.
Viali. Frankie Viali.
Okay. And funny how this song didn't get much attention. It wasn't, you know, they had to actually work their way to get this song out there. So the story behind this song getting recognized or getting popping on people's radio station is that they had to ask someone to play it on radio. Initially, the owner of the radio station did not agree. He wasn't interested, and he just felt like it wasn't worth his time. But after so much persuasion, they managed to convince him to just listen to the live session of the song, and from there, he added it to the playlist, and that's how the song just took off. And the original song is actually from 1967. So 10 years later, oh, sorry. Um, not 10 years later, sorry, 30 years later,
29 years. 29 years.
is it?
Because I think
1967
I I
to
think sorry
1997.
for I think sorry for cutting you. I think the album itself, I don't know whether like because it came as part of an album too,
Hmm. Ah,
right?
okay.
Because it was part of the miseducation of Lauren Hill as well. So but I
Hmm,
also
yeah,
remember like, but yeah, but go on, you
it
can go
was
on.
a
I
hidden
think
track.
29, 30 years. Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah. So 1967 to 1997. So that's about 30 years. It came back to light with Lauren Hill, and then today we have it in Olamide's song titled Lover Lover. And actually, Olamide just used her vocals for the part where she says, I love you, babe. So that's like basically all that Olamide took from the song. And her vocals started the song. So I guess that's what just interested me in listening to what Olamide had to say in this song. And to be quite frank, I was impressed because I thought he would go off topic. But to my amazement, he didn't. So the Lover Lover song by Olamide is basically a song where Olamide just asks his lover to not fall his hand, that she should just be with him, basically. And I think it also just reflects the sample, which is I love you, baby, I need you, baby. And it's really nice that Olamide hopped onto this track, and the beat is not related to the original song, just Lauryn Hill's voice. And he kept a cool tempo on the voice. It was very laid back, very relaxed. And he also expressed his love towards whoever he was referring to in this song. And I feel like he really did a great job, like just projecting his own version of the song and singing it in his own way, just taking the song and making it his own. He didn't stick to the original genre of the song, but made it more like an Afro pop mid tempo type of song. And I really do admire that for him. I admire Olamide's work ethic. Maybe I'm being biased because I just love YBNL in general, but Olamide's work ethic is just mad. He has released so many albums and he is still going, and he is not seeming like he even wants to slow down or anything. And Young John even said it in his interview that one thing he learned from Olamide is that you need to have work ethics. You need to work for what you want. And I can see it's very evident that he has been working and he is still working for what he wants. And it's showing today evidently that he is one of the top people in Nigerian music, and I love this sample. I'm really glad that he executed it very well. And to me, like I said, maybe it's my bias, but yeah, I would give this a 10. And mostly because he just used part of the vocals. She was also in the background as well. So he didn't just make the entire song about the sample, but the sample was just incorporated into the song. So that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about the song, and I know Nelson, you have more to say about Lauryn Hill, so I'll just let you take the stage. You're muted. I still can't hear you. Or am I the problem?
Okay, maybe that's a problem. And then I can speak quickly to bridge that.
Sure, sure, sure.
I know I haven't listened to it. I may not be able to speak on it, but I just appreciate the album. Um, and the fact that Dr. Dre is somewhere on the album. Nelson, are you back? Not yet. So yeah, Olamide is. I think is maybe because of his hip hop resume, he would naturally sample better than most. Look at Anifowoshe is a song that picks from K1. K1 song is Anifowoshe. He did that, made it the chorus, typical of hip hop. Not a lot of variation from what the song originally was, and then he raps on it. So, yeah, hip hop guys generally would do better with sampling, and that's, I guess, what we are seeing with this song that you have just talked about. I will check out the album a little later and see what's in it. Maybe it's a good time to say I'm not exactly the perfect Olamide fan. The last album that I really paid attention to would be the one that has higher featuring Bez. Nelson should help me remember, or Louisa. There's an album by Olamide that has Bez, that has, oh my goodness, it's the one where he did this famous pose. I don't know why I'm not remembering, but I think it's 4 letter words. Yeah, that's about it.
Mm.
But after that, I enjoyed it in weather because of the Inferiority Complex and Say Something. I was in NYC
You
camp
mean
when that was.
YBNL?
Maybe
No,
baddest
Or
guy
not
ever
why
Sweet
the
lived.
OT?
baddest
Baddest guy ever. Okay,
baddest guy ever lived.
This
okay.
one
Yes,
that had
that's
story for
the
the gods.
yes, it has a lot of jams. And the other
Yeah.
one, so Olamide has, the ears for a hit song. He's the typical hip hop rock star, very hip hop, but he can dumb it down for the streets or for a different type of audience. And that's what we've seen over the years. Many, many albums, real raps, but also for commercial. So yeah, shouts to him.
All right. So I think I'm back now. My microphone decided to bail on me. Ouch. But yeah, I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear though, before I continue.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes.
cool. So, yeah, talking about let me start off with Olamide first. I knew Boyega was going to say he was not a big fan. Everybody on Anybody that listens to this podcast already knows your reservations. So I don't know why, but that's what it is. It's cool. Let me start off first by saying Olamide is a student of music. I'm never shocked whenever I hear anything from Olamide. Olamide is the same guy that did la da la da la da. I still don't know what made them come to like, oh, okay, let's ask Sister Agnes in this. So Olamide is somebody that has used so many songs. I mean, from Omani for Worship, which is like the probably one of the biggest ones at the time. I don't think anybody in like the hip hop space had used anything from Kwam. Maybe in other spaces, but no. So basically, what that says, and then there's so many songs that Olamide has actually. I mean, we have had some of this in the spot too as well, where he would sample, and his samples are always completely different. So when I heard, because I've listened to this entire album, and one thing I must say is, man, Olamide still has it. This is one of the albums I was talking about that, like, if it was 5 years ago, Olamide goes straight to number one because of his star level, one, and also the quality of music. Because literally, I'm not even going to be. There's no bad song on this album, to be honest. Are they hits? Maybe not. Maybe, because obviously that's like a subjective thing. We can argue that one. We don't have any hits. We don't. I think Lala Kipo might actually become a hit because that's the kind of songs that Olamide, like, Olamide's kind of songs that becomes a hit,
I'm a
right?
fan.
Exactly, those are the kind of songs that Olamide even, and I saw a video of him as well, like reacting to the song being played, and you can tell for a fact he's crazy about the song. I think the video was quite interesting. It was an Instagram video where he was about to take a picture with a couple of ladies, and then the DJ plays, "If your boyfriend and they like," and he went absolutely nuts. I'll look for that video and send it to the group later. But then, yeah, it just shows like this lover, like you said. I mean, like I was shocked that you were saying like Olamide was staying on topic. Like that's what I think. Olamide takes samples very seriously. Any song, and I'm ready to stand corrected. Go through his discography. Anywhere he samples, whether it is sampling Sister Agnes or K1 The Ultimate or Lauren Hill, as far as the sampling, he tries to make that record as tight as possible. Like he would, I think, that's what Boyga said. He's a student of music. He's a hip hop head. So he's like, okay, my other songs like Lala Kipo, I can mess around and do whatever, or I can just get one of those records and just mess around. But like maybe like Kai, for example, you can tell he was just having fun with Kai. Kai with Whiskey. That's basically we're just chilling. It's not Omotosho of the early days, but it's like, it's not Totori me, it's just me and my brother chilling, basically. That's what that song is. And I like the fact that Kai has like a vibe to it, right? But with Lover Lover, you can tell that he's like, okay, I'm gonna pen this down. Erima was the girl he was talking about. And he did it quite nicely, So I was actually very impressed. And like I said, I feel there's a little bit of a bias for me for Lauren Hill. So I think Lauren Hill has like an amazing voice. And I mean, like most people remember too that Lauren Hill was in the film Sister Act. That's where I fell in love with Lauren Hill as like as a personality first. I mean, that's not a real personality, but I was like, oh, I love this character she portrayed. And then I realized she was a musician. And then I heard song. Blue Whoop for me is my best song by Lauren Hill. Guys, you better watch out. Some girls, oh, she rapped her ass off on that song. No, like there's no time, and the fact that she stood tall against the biggest rappers, he was there at the. I don't think it's the peak, but I like to say one of the peak moments of hip hop, right? Like what I mean, one of the peak moments, because her peers for women, and this is another quick segue, but I'm talking about Lauren, so I have to say this. Her peers, for example, were people like Queen Latifah, MC Light. These were ladies that they were not, they had to drop the lines. If you didn't drop the bars, I mean, apart from Lil Kim that actually started to be more sexually like, empowered by her lines. Most of these ladies, you go listen to songs like Keep On Keeping On, where they had like, Queen Latifah and had MC Light, These ladies were rapping bars with bars. There's this song, It's a Shame, Money Love, for example. She was in a time where all the females, and this is me throwing a jab. Yes, I know. That's
Is
why I don't listen to rap.
Eve, I don't know if you know
Uh,
Eve. Is she from the same time or different times?
Not really, because Eve
Okay,
came
okay.
in like late 1999, 2000-ish. Yeah. So this time I'm talking about are like the OG mamas, the women that would wear the African hat, right? So I mean, it's like songs like Queen Latifah. Yeah, it's almost nightfall. Greg, do you remember the name of that song? Desire, I know you want me. You're fine, thank you, but I'm not the kind of girl. Louisa,
No.
go and listen to Queen Latifah and Money Love. That's when you would know that, like, okay, these women were actually, I mean, their lines were not heavy punchlines, but they rhymed and they kept they kept it on topic. Why am I saying this? I can't compare that with now. I heard a rap song over like the last week from one of those artists. I'm not going to call the person's name, and it was literally boobies, bum bum. That's basically I did not get any. It was like, can you take my ass and shake that ass? I'm like, no, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. But I mean, it is what they're enjoying right now. But I'm just saying, she tussled with the best of them, and she did it well. She tussled against the men and the women that were quite good, and she was able to come out top. So I think she won an award for miseducation of Lauren Hill, but everybody knows that already. And like I said, I think this is what a sample should sound like. The sample should draw you in, right? Then you get to experience something new, and then you get reminded of the sample again. I think that's how samples should work. There's this song, "Ain't No Woman I Don't Want I've Got." I've forgotten the name of the artist that sampled it, but I remember that the first time I heard, I'm like, oh, this record is beautiful. Because the same way this started, that "I love you, baby," that's the way they started their rap song too. It was the "Ain't No Woman I Don't Want I've Got." That already, and for someone that knows old music, you're like, oh, this is a song from the 80s. And then the guy goes on the rap, and then he chops off a small line that he did and stuff, and then he throws it in again. And we have had records like that. So I think overall, I'm not surprised. Like I said, maybe there's like some sort of um bias for having two people that actually do love their work a lot being on the same record. So, for that reason, I would not give my sample access score on this one because I might be a little bit too biased, and I don't want that to be the case. Every single time, I want to be clear as possible. What I think about it, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I feel like there's always improvement to be done, but I still wouldn't give because I feel like there's a lot of bias already, and I want to stay clear out of that. So I'll just stay in the middle for that one. But yeah, great sample. I like how it was done, and the album itself is a very good album. Like I said, Olamide showed himself quite nicely in this album. He literally gave us an album with everything in it. For example, the the Kai is for, yeah, the guys that are chill and just want to vibe, right? I just want to chill and vibe. Indica was quite interesting. I'm like, Dr.
Yeah.
Dre, let's
And I
get it.
don't like the way Indica just ended so abruptly. Like I felt like we were getting
Yeah,
somewhere, and then Olamide just pulled the
yeah,
plug, and oh my god. But yeah, I like the
yeah.
track.
I've said this a couple of times, but I think Olamide is one of those people that is not scared of cutting things and just leaving as it is. I think
Yeah.
an artist called Faggio called it demoitis. Demoitis means that when you do like a demo and it's really good, you don't touch it anymore.
You know what I also think? I feel like he made it feel incomplete so that we replay. Because a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah,
told me, because I mentioned that as well. And then a lot of people said that I had to play like 8 times before I felt fulfilled, like before I felt like I understand what's
yeah,
happening
yeah,
now. But
yeah,
yeah, that was a
yeah.
smart move.
Yeah, the reason why I say this is because Greg, I don't know whether I remember we had this conversation one time. I don't know whether you know the song, Louisa, Omo, Olamide and Reminisce. Omo, 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 Omo,
One more
Omo.
time,
Yeah,
100.
yeah. One more times, 100, something like that, yeah.
I think Reminisce said that Olamide's verse on that record is so deep and so vulnerable. They were like, no, we're not going to release this. And Olamide was like, let's just cut this part out and put it out. Until today, if there's any song that I would go to an archive and steal, because I think Olamide in his most vulnerable state is the best Olamide you can get. He's going to say it as it is. I mean, like, I listen to Triumphant again and I'm like, oh my God, Triumphant is such a good record. Because, like he was really spitting, like he was basic. That's Olamide is, see, wait, I don't know whether I said, I know Olamide is doing Yoruba, but Olamide is more hip hop than a lot of hip hop Nigerian artists. He's more, do you agree with that?
Not entirely, but I see it. It's very hip hop. It just doesn't
Yeah, he's
express it as much.
exactly. And I think he holds back a lot. I'm very sure if somebody ever stumbles like on his hard drive, he's going to be a lot of pain because he probably will just shed tears all the way. Because I know like he holds back, and I think he's, like I said, he's more hip hop than a lot of hip hop artists. But yeah, a great album altogether. I think everybody should go out and listen to this album. The song with Popcorn too. Popcorn is a superstar, man. What the heck? Lovely song, lovely song. Popcorn did his thing there, quite nice too. Hybrid. I don't feel so much about it, but it's okay. I think Lala Kipo should get on a life of his own soon. I hope it does, because Orlando knows how to push songs like that. I really hope Lala Kipo gets to, even if it's just like a half a year run of, if your boyfriend, they like, I keep,
That song is like it just started out of nowhere. Like you just say one, two,
yeah,
three, then he goes straight into it. That is
but
fire.
You have
Oh
been
my God.
oh, it's beautiful. It's the way, and it's not. You know why I like it is it's not a record that you're like. Oh, yeah, I'm like, no, it's like that's a jam. You're like you are in a
It's
club.
like
You're
you
like,
start on a high and it
no,
stays on a high. It's I
honestly,
can't describe it,
amazing
but it's a
record.
very nice song.
Always, nice record, nice record. But yeah, good stuff. But then before we round up, go ahead,
Because I don't want to
say
feel
something.
left out in this high energy conversation, and it's a weekend. You guys should go and listen to Ranking So Different again.
What's the name of the record again?
So different.
Feel different.
SUH
So
different.
so different.
Oh, so SUH different.
No,
Yes,
SO.
but
I think is it?
So
I don't know.
it's
Maybe I'm
spelled
wrong. Oh.
SUH.
Ah, okay. Ah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yes, 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 yes.
okay, okay, all right. So before we round up, I just wanted us because I think we have done over an hour 20 minutes already. So we'll try to round up soon. But then um just because of that's the reason why I put it last. Before we go on to like sleeper jams, like I started. So we have two segments now or two parts that I've added to the pod. The first part being that we always give our samples a score. I'm going to probably need to give this a score because I jumped out of this one because like of my bias. I think my bias might be too much. And I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10, but my bias is maybe too much. So Boyega, what's your score
But,
for Olamide's
but
Lava Lava?
I'll have to defer because I haven't listened well just yet. I'll have to defer. And that's my bad, by the way.
Okay. Okay, we'll try our possible best to not like be in this situation next time so that we make sure that like we give the scores. But moving forward, yeah, we're still getting on the group. We're gonna get better. Like yeah, the pictures will get better, the sound will get better. We'll start to play music, even if it's just for 5 seconds, and then scratch it off. We do all of that. We're working on all of that. But now, before we give Skipper Jams, just to talk, 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want it to be too much the conversation about hip hop, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because my sleeper jam for this week or for this month or this bi-weekly, depending on whoever is listening and when they are listening, I say it's a rap song. And it's what hip hop, that's the kind of song that makes me, of course, I'm a Kendrick fan, so you already know what hip hop is like to me. But then I just wanna like say for Nigerian sound when I hear stuff like that, I'm like hip hop, okay, that's cool. Um, what do we think let me start with Louisa because I feel like we're gonna already have this conversation. Um, Louisa, I know you probably don't know so much about like hip hop in terms of like the Nigerian space, but if there was like if there was like a class of like artists, like maybe let's say top tier, and please, this is exempting hits because we are talking hip hop now, so we don't do hits anymore. Exempting hits, exempting um cultural impact as they are calling it. We're just saying the art for the art, right? If there was tier one, two, three, what do you put Odumodu Black in all of that? I know it's a very, very raunchy conversation, but like you heard what I said, no hits involved and no cultural impact in code because that would probably throw this out of like I'm saying hip hop as an art, right? As an art of itself, which means it could be the top tier, it could be the less tier. Now I'm going to give you a quick example of what I'm talking about with top tier. Top tier, like tier one, I'm saying for me, Modo, like Mode 9, Mathematical again, MI. To me, those are the top tier. Top tier two, I say Fino and Olamide, you know, because of what they have done and how they have done it. Tier three, Tito, Black Bones, because Black Bones is going to get to tier one later on. So what tier would you put Odumodu in all of this?
This is a very sticky question because I don't even like know how to. I've never really classified hip hop, so it's like I don't know. But I think based on what you have said,
Mm.
please, hip hop should not come for me because Black Bones is in the same tier. I'll just say C because you put Olamide in B, so I'm like, I don't think he's on the same level as Olamide yet. That's why I put him in the C tier.
I
But
like to make this. I like to make this. I like to make this clear again. Hits
yeah,
out
that's your.
cultural impact art.
Uh-huh.
The art itself, the
Mhm,
art of hip hop itself.
mhm.
So I feel like it's possible for him because now they're saying art itself. It's possible for him to be top tier. It could be tier one, but like but yeah. I just want to make that clear so that nobody really
Like,
gets like and
I mean,
understand like we're not talking all those things.
I don't feel like he has made like that big of an impact for me to really like put him up. I mean, like he has like done well in the Nigerian music space, but I feel based on the people you have called, I feel like they have done way more than him, which is why I don't really feel the need to put him up right now. But with time, let's see how this beef goes. If it generates into something bigger and maybe it influences so many rappers to come up and start doing the same thing, or encourages rappers to be more serious. I let me not say maybe more serious is not the right term, but if it like pushes rappers to do more than like where they are now, then I think I would increase his level. But for now, yeah, I would keep him there. Yeah.
Right there, you have the floor.
So, I think it's a tricky question. Like you said, sticky. It's a bit hard. It's not this or that. I think that's really where I'm going. It's not black and white. So if we are not um considering cultural impact, or what's the second criteria you mentioned?
Or hit amount of hits, because
Okay,
that would throw it off. Because if you call amount of hits, somebody like Mood Knight would probably not be, you know,
yeah, right, right,
tier
right.
one.
So no hits, no cultural impact, just art form. If Black
Mm.
Bones is in tier three, yes, Black Bones is not so it's complicated because Black Bones was much more hip hop. Again, I'm blabbing. Why am I saying all of this is because there is a part of the movie that is really, really hip hop, that is big time hip hop. So if Black Bones is on tier three, it's just natural order to throw um Odumodu in tier three. But there's also a universe where Odumodu is more hip hop than Black. If it's the art form, okay, since we're restricting it to the art form, that may be wrong. So Black and Odumodu will be in the same class. But hip hop is more than hits, like you said, more than cultural impact. There is your mic
That's
is
the reason
off.
why I was. If I'm sorry, Gloria, for like cutting you. I know you're about to make a decision. That's why I was very careful. Because, like I said, I'm not. We can't argue. We can't argue metrics. Like he has said, the metrics. The metrics surpasses.
So
He's probably too decent to say, but he surpasses everybody. Surpasses everybody down to freestyle, and because it is what it is. If we're
yeah,
talking,
right. So
it is what it
metrics
is.
should not be should not be
Metrics.
about.
Metrics is gonna be a theme. He's the best rapper of all time. If we're being completely honest, if metrics is a thing, he's the best rapper out of Nigeria of all time. But the thing
I get
about,
your point.
like just like Reminisce said, hip hop doesn't know hits. Hip hop doesn't know. I mean, that's why people like Red. Red can still come out and defeat anybody hands down. That's why people would say, "Oh yeah. We have like, I mean, we will say, okay, like Tupac, he did his thing, but like Nas is probably still above him on the list, you know. So all of these things would come. That's why I said let's take all of that out. We don't want to follow the crowd. We're saying hip hop as an art form. And you know what? I know I put you guys in a box and say tier one, tier two, tier three. The reason why is because there's no how you have to put the positions in there, And I'm saying for me personally, I think Black is tier three, close to tier two. The only reason why Black is not tier two yet is because of longevity. That's the only reason why I'm not putting him in tier two yet. He has been here for a while, but longevity is not his best friend yet. So when longevity becomes his best friend, he's one of those people like in the Hall of Fame. You say you have a 99% chance to get into tier two, right? And that's because of your form of music and like your school of thought, basically. So I'm just saying, think of all those things. We were very clear.
So back to the topic. I was blabbing a lot because of the segmentation. Now we
Yeah,
have to then be more intricate. If we are talking about hip hop as an art form, that means an Olamide will have to scrutinize his work and separate the songs where he had to do Afrobeats and focus on only the hip hop song.
definitely,
If that's it,
definitely.
if that's it, a major hip hop song that comes to mind from Olamide, I think is Akwati Jabo, Eluduro,
Don't
Enyonye
get it,
Weather.
killer.
Young Erikina, all those rap songs, those are the songs by which we will judge him. And then we'll do the same for Black Bones and we'll do the same for Olamide. In this
Exactly.
space,
Exactly. That's the point.
only a few guys, Mode 9 and Freestyle, are blemished. Now, back to Black Bones and the movie. Both of them have, dumbed down the arts. Afrobeats on one side, hip hop on one side. The movie is doing Afrobeat slash Oporoko rhythms, and then hip hop. So for his hip hop records, we if I want to talk about art form, then I'll go to Pusha T and 50 Cent and look at what they
Mm.
did in hip hop. In which case, that template will not work in Nigeria. This is where Odumodu gets an upper hand, and it's sad it's coming from me. Odumodu is as hip hop as it comes. He carries it. Braggadocio, is it bravado or braggadociousness? The lyrics are raw, and this is Can Boss. It's 50 Cent in New York. It's getting shot, sleeping in prison. Does that count in hip hop?
Of
He's
course
facing
not.
Olopa and busting, is challenging your person. Of course, I'm still going to skill, which he doesn't necessarily have. But if we listen to MC Oluomo, which is a bad example too, this guy is a problematic guy. So there's hardly anything you say about him that would make sense. Anyway, enough of the blabbing. Odumodu, I cannot back this up yet. There is a conversation where Odumodu is more hip hop than Black Bones. There is a conversation where I'm not able to back up right now. Because if you listen to how it came up is Agbalagba, the verse on Agbalagba by SK. And for you to build a community in Abuja, in Abuad, around the country, before you come to Lagos, go to UK, and you are able to rap. So the problem with Odumodu is his skill. He doesn't the 16 bars don't align well. And that's why we can throw him away and say you are not very hip hop. But there is a space where Odumodu has hip hop elements that qualify more than many, so to speak. I guess I didn't make a lot of good points, but if you catch my drift.
You made a point. You made your point, and I like the fact that you still found a way to like slide away from the conversation. Only Louisa actually like put him in a tier after every single thing that was said and done.
Put him in number three. Put him in number three, please. Because
Okay, okay, okay.
I wanted to put him in number one, which would be crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it would be absolutely not. But like,
Or
yeah,
two. But of
yeah,
course, skill is skill part of the art form. You help me. You think skill and
definitely,
writing.
definitely. The only reason, let me
Then
tell you something. Let me say something. Let me say
sorry,
something.
before you
Okay,
go on, then I will step him down to four. If it's about writing, skill,
my guy, you're taking
bars.
it up a notch. I only cut 3 tiers. Why are you dropping my man? You are relegating him. Why?
No, listen. Okay, let me tell you. Spray, cut all the Olokwa and stain their berets with a Lucy. How does that fit in with what people are talking about? A split it halfway and have a dozen is 12. He doesn't fit in. If skill and so you see where this is a hard conversation to have. But to the guy in Delta, all those I'm dressed in black, supposedly they're following me like there is a
Like
community
this and that.
that there's a community that can rock with that. So when you say skill
Yeah, then.
as hip hop as we know it, then it doesn't fall into that. You can't put him in Black Bones if it is about skill. I don't know if I'm making sense. Black Bones can rap
Yeah.
on the level where Pusha T is. If you put Pusha T and Black Bones and 50 Cent on a
On the
track
record.
and tell them
On the
to
record,
write
yeah. They
32
will
bars,
they might not go
Black
bar
Bones
for
will
bar,
hold
but
his own.
he will drop a 16.
Odumodu cannot
Yeah.
do that.
He will drop a 16.
That's why I want to
Yeah.
clarify if it's about art form. If it's about art form, then you can't necessarily put Odumodu in number three. But I'm saying that
But
there's also culture.
I have a thing to say to that. Yeah. Now, the first time I heard Odumodu was probably 2019 or 2018. I knew I was still like in undergrad days. It was one of my guys. Shout out to Folusho. Folusho likes listening to, Abuja guys. So he would plug in onto any stuff that is popping on their end. So by friendship, I heard Odumodu. I can't remember the year exactly now, but I know it's not that far back. So maybe 2019, 2020, thereabouts. I think I told you for the first time. I remember we had one kind of conversation about SK at the time too. I think that was the same time I heard about Odumodu. And yeah, man, big hustler. I'm very impressed by what he does. Honestly, 100%. I love what he does. Like I said, if it comes to metrics, he's the best Nigerian rapper of all time. There's nobody touching him, and it's just the truth. The number says so, right? But when it comes to art form, which was what I was like a little bit like I was struggling with. When it comes to the art form, going yeah, I'm gonna put this whilst you were talking. When I put my stuff on mute, I listened to "Cry Again" by Mode 9. Cry, Nina Mode 9. And my bro, the art form is crazy. It's crazy. It's untouchable. Like there's a way, like Modern Cry is probably one of the best songs out of Nigeria of all time, if I've been completely honest, right? So that's exactly
Yeah.
how it is, right? So, but then you think about it and you're like, okay, you know what? It is what it is. It's fine. It's all of those this. I feel like when you bring it into the skill level, I'm sorry, but I have to put him in tier 3 to go to tier 4. But all of this can change. And I'm not saying this directly to him. All of this can change with one mixtape. Because why?
Oh,
He has the impetus, right? With him. He's that guy, you know. And I told you the same thing too. He just needs to like, and he doesn't need to do this. Nobody's forcing him. But if he's gonna make a stamp and he does like, because that's what people used to say. I'm not doing this records right now because you guys are not feeling it, right? But now you have made the records, made the money. You have gone and have gotten like thousands of stuff from like whatever, whatever. You've gotten all those things. You have to then go back and say, hey, let me do that record quickly. But yeah, go
so
ahead, just say so that we can wrap up with the sleeper jams.
yeah, so just to be clear, we have still not done sleeper jams, but just to be clear, if Odumodu wants to do a mixtape, for example, to show that I'm hip hop, he is not going to do anything differently. Oh. You only give what you have. Odumodu does not have what the hip hop community is requesting of him. And I'll refer to Cry to try to make this argument. Cry by Mode 9 featuring Neka is understood by you and I and the hip hop community in Nigeria. If you play it for the regular guy, or not the regular guy, the regular Nigerian, except they watch the video and see the dramatization, they won't get the message. They won't necessarily get the message. That's why I'm saying maybe we should change the marking scheme. When you want to submit your
Uh-huh.
wife, when you want to apply for a job in France, and they say that we are receiving certificates in French language. If your certificate is in English and your transcript,
You
please
have to do
change it to French.
translation.
Change it to French so we can read. In that case, we will now set up a marking scheme and say, George Mode 9, Black Bones, MI, and these their songs by this a certain audience in Nigeria. George Odumodu by this other audience that do not understand flabbergasted as a word, that don't, but they know poto poto, but they know mede mede, but I don't know if any of this is making sense. I don't
Yeah, it
get
makes
time to
makes
the
perfect sense.
I don't get time to the watch. Oh yeah, put that Rolex. If Black Bones is going to make that bar in his own language, he's going to say, time wasting, wait for nobody. Happy on that another wave Rolex shit. So
Mm,
you see the marketing scheme is different. And it's going to
yeah.
appeal to another audience. But when Odumodu said, I don't get time to the watch, oh yeah, put that Rolex, it's a street language for the bad boys who collect your watch in Oshodi. I don't have time to. It doesn't make sense to you guys. You are too learned for that shit. And I can go on and on and on.
Yeah,
I say
yeah.
it. What Jay-Z was saying on God Did, his verse on God Did, is pretty much what Odumodu said in Soluomo, but people will never welcome it. So that we don't just go back and forth and I'm this guy who is defending Odumodu, let's change the marking scheme and separate the audiences. And that's why, I don't know, there's just something going on. You see, when the Nigerian hip hop community said in the early days that um, you have to speak the language of the people so that we can welcome you. All the writers, all the journalists, Rugged Man made 2 songs, Opomuleru and Religion, that if you don't speak the language that we hear, you are not truly Nigerian rap. You cannot be more New York
Mhm.
than New Yorkers. This is a very active conversation. MI made albums for the streets, for everybody, and then he made mixtapes for hip hop community. That's the segregation I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You
that's
that's
what and just to I don't want us to spend too much because I know you guys have to go. But
wasting
that
time.
what you just said now, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop us there. What you said last about MI, I think Odumodu is now big enough to do that. Whether he does it or not is his own choice. But I think Odumodu is now at that level. Odumodu can drop a mixtape in the next 5 years. He doesn't have to drop it now. Next 5 years, next 3 years, and people would still listen, right? He has gotten to that level where as you can say, you know what? And this is only going to be true if he's a real hip hop like head, because it's going to be a lot of hard work if he's not a real hip hop head. You know, if he's a real hip hop head, he would want to make a record. He want to make like stuff like that. So I just drop it for the community. But it is what it is. But all the best, man. Me, I think he's a superstar. He should continue to be a superstar. Nobody should stress him. If you want to fight him, go and bring out the metrics. Reach him. It's just facts.
Sorry, sorry again. Louisa, sorry that we are lost, we are sort of lost in this conversation. But I want to make this that Odumodu's problem is deeper than what we're talking about. In Yoruba, they said, Otu Shekusheye, you have offended gods. You have So his problem, you see, what happened over the last week, a lot of people had to, say what they said. He wasn't right in some of his statements, but if another person made a song that somehow crossed over from Abuja to London to Arsenal Stadium, the conversation would be different. So Odumodu's problem is an image problem. If he wasn't Odumodu, this conversation would be a little bit different, and it's still an active conversation.
Mm,
It's a conversation.
mm.
Let's not do too much. But I wish we
All
didn't.
right.
I didn't want to come in here, so let's go to sleeper jams.
No, no, no. Yeah, it's all good. I felt like it was a conversation that was needed, and I'm glad that we had it. So, Louisa, just to wrap it up, Sleeper Jam. What exactly are you listening to right now? And you have listened for a while, and you feel like people should listen to or should go back to. Let's bring them back to good music.
So what I am listening to now, so both old and new, or strictly
Yeah,
old?
just like something. It should probably be maybe not too old. Maybe something you heard last year, or something around that area, basically.
Okay, so I think a sleeper jam would be a song by Faith. I don't know if plenty people know it, but or maybe it's because of my reason. I don't know if it trended, but it's called "Belong to You." I don't know if you guys know it.
Chase, Chase,
Faith from Kante. Faith, you know her.
Face.
F
You
A
don't
V
remember
E.
Fede?
Okay, Fave. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The song is called "Belong
Fave,
to You."
my online wife.
Yeah. So maybe you know the song, but yeah, I think I didn't
Hey,
really hear the
I like her
buzz.
voice so much. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't really hear the buzz around the song, so I don't know. Maybe people know it, but because of where I am, I wasn't really seeing much about it. But yeah, "Belong to You" by Faith is a very beautiful song, and she actually admitted that it's like her best song. So I think she
Uh-huh.
poured her heart into that song. So if you don't know it, then listen to it, and you actually hear that she did pour her heart into that song.
Oh, definitely, I would be listening to that. Wait, what about you?
Yeah, I'll go back to the song I mentioned earlier, and then I'll add another one. Or then we'll say Up and Down. It's a very
Hmm?
Afrobeat song, not very Afrobeat, but it's Afrobeat jazz, Afrobeat without the S, with some jazz, and it's really, really good. It's a good song. It's
Hmm.
uplifting. It's really good. And then I'll add Davis and this guy called Prince. Is it Young Prince? They made Pablo and Ghana. It's a good hip hop record. Davis is New York, so
Oh,
expect that 50 Cent energy. Pablo and Ghana, Davis and Young Prince.
okay. I really wish I had like, a mixer set up right now. I have the perfect song to exit with. The perfect song. But I'm gonna keep it. Maybe as soon as we get the first time we get like our music stuff together, that's the song I'm going to use for us to exit. So two songs, the Tolibian song Oble OBLEE, just like the Oble that we know already from this the December time. Oble Ashanga. Easier, easier, but no, this is a different record. I think it's beautiful. I feel like people should listen to it. It was released in May, around 25th or 27th of May 2025. It has gone under the radar, and I think people should go back, listen to it. All of our like listeners, it's a very, very nice song. And yeah, please also mail us as well, on the group. And a classic from the Lagos Street Die album that was dropped by Tito Thomas. You had to be there. If you like or you loved Nigerian rap, I'm talking about old school, like Plenty Nonsense, Shake Body, I Am William by Two Shots, and that kind of vibe, you're gonna get it with You Had to Be There. That song is everything, right? I don't know how we went under the radar, but big shout out to Tito Thomas, Teeto. The name of the song is You Had to Be There. It's featuring Mr. Styles, KB and LD, basically featuring Tribesmen, the
Hmm.
original group Tribesmen. So yeah, that's
That's
a good
the
one to
Simos,
listen to.
right?
Yeah,
Simos.
Simos, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I shouted him out on Twitter and he shouted me out back. I appreciated it from
Great
afar.
guy.
You know, it was quite nice. Great guy. So yeah, those are our sleeper jams. Yeah, of course. I'd love to play Try by Mudnaya right now to leave. But it's all good. I'll hold on to it the next time. I feel like the beginning of that song is so beautiful. Like you just know, there are some records you listen to from the onset that you can tell this is gonna be a masterpiece. You just know. And that was what that song gave. But all right, guys, thank you so much for this. I know anytime I'm the one that is leading the pod, it's always chaotic. I'm sorry. But it is what it is.
Fine.
It's all love.
Just
It's
the
all love.
truth.
It's all love. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for everyone listening. Please mail us. We're still at Sample Access 1. Sample Access Pod 1. Is it Sample Access Pod 1 or Sample Access 1? There you go.
Something like this one.
Sampleaccess1 at gmail.com. Mail us if you have anything to tell us. And also tell us about the sleeper jams that we're missing to plug us onto good music if you have them. And also like follow us on all platforms as well, Sample Access Pod on Twitter as well as on Instagram. And also share, like, and follow. Yeah? All right. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye.